You essentially just use a circle as the base of the skull, and then a lot of lines and measuring, and then whatever. I really like things like horror and sci-fi and stuff, because I really like those sort of, like things like Mass Effect and Aliens and things like that really inspire me. And so I draw a lot of aliens in my work, I do a lot of horror, and I make my own monsters and sort of that kind of thing. I do a lot of character concepts and character design. As a career, I want to get into like theatre and making puppets and stuff like that. I thought about becoming a makeup artist and an illustrator and all those sort of things. I wanted to do all of it, but I didn't know that there was a career that sort of encompassed all of those things. And then I discovered theatre, which is basically painting, prop making, textiles, all that sort of thing, photography, all into one big ball of stuff.
There's a real sense of community about amateur theatre. Obviously nobody's paid to be here. We all are doing it because it's something that genuinely people love to do.
Art brings people together in so many ways. If you look on social media, for example, it's like entire websites are dedicated to people talking about art and sharing ideas, and it does bring a lot of people together.
Within amateur theatre, there absolutely is a role for anybody to be involved with, whether you want to be on stage, whether you want to help out backstage, whether you want to be a member of the crew, the design team. There's so many roles that there really is a role for anyone, so everyone can contribute and feel like they've been a real part of the kind of end result, which is absolutely incredible. And there's never anything like being part of a group who's working towards a show, and that feeling when you all step out on stage for the first time and you're all in it together and the audience are there and all eyes are on you, and it's just an absolutely incredible feeling.
It's really, reassuring when you get people around you who encourage you to do that sort of thing and will allow you to,
I'm often kind of like impelled by trying to resist making what I do into like a glorification of my own self, and it being sort of like it's like the artist, like I don't buy into that myth. People like disappear into what they do, and it doesn't become like an accessory for self-commodifying and self-glorification and earning a certain reputation for. It's obviously very nice to be like acknowledged for like what you do, but at the end of the day it's all well and good for me to lecture about not commodifying yourself, but I am a solo artist who works under their own name. But I just think at the same time you can sort of like give yourself up to trying to express something that's bigger than, it's like bigger than yourself, or like that it's possible to interpret beyond ways that you can imagine. And I think that a better way to do that is not to get like so bound up in like glorifying yourself within your work. I was asked to participate on a panel at a music festival somewhere. I was about 18 or 19, so I was like the token. Here's like
a young
musician who like is touring and stuff, and here are like some other people. Some people on the panel were lovely and very supportive, and other people from more like business sides of the industry are very giving advice that I thought was really mean. And it was kind of like, if you make demos, don't put them on SoundCloud, you've got to like, strategize and make sure that and it's like, fuck that, like, I put out so much crap when I was like 13, just rubbish. It felt good, it felt really good to put it out and share with your friends, even though it wasn't good. Who cares, like, I think, even though it seems like cliche or like a redundant thing to say, I think people should make with as little concern as possible for like being cool. I don't think that's like criticised enough within like independent music that's supposed to be like counterculture, but can often be like really cliquey and really like can really denigrate certain, if you don't like wear the right things and you know, like very conservative actually in that sense.
So for my FMP, we were given a word to sort of base our entire research and making out of, and our word was metamorphosis, which is a bit artsy. And so I tied it into metamorphosis by saying it's the change from inanimate object to living creature. And so I started to, you know, research and I started to develop my own puppets and my own characters and stuff. This is going to be a costume of a character, sort of like a plague doctor, steampunk styled merchant, so he's covered in stuff. I don't think of it, it just sort of appears. I have a few life drawings as well. I had a small obsession with Rorschach tests at some point. The competition nowadays is so like massive. It's so difficult nowadays to get into art university and stuff like that, because it's just, there are thousands, millions of people who want to become an artist, or, you know, just anything, a musician, an actor, anything that sort of, that involves that sort of creative element. So it's a very competitive field, because, you know, there's always someone that's going to be better than you, or better at the skill that you're practicing than you. So yeah, there is definitely, it's stressful trying to become an artist, because you're constantly trying to think of new ideas and stuff that no one's ever seen before.
Like, music doesn't offer you it will like never offer you stability, really. It doesn't have a sort of like arc in the way that a lot of professions do. Of course, now as we see those like old kind of promotion structures, it's completely falling apart anyway.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
I think it's more a question of like wanting to avoid money being a motivating factor in what you do.
The main challenges, I would say, is how to deliver what the show needs to be successful, but how to also be creative with it and put your own spin on it, particularly if it's a well-known show, like Threepenny Opera, like Rent, like Bad Girls. Actually, people come with a certain expectation of how things will be done, and yet that might not be the vision that you have for the show. So there is a bit of a challenge there in delivering something that the audience are going to really enjoy, but also being able to bring in your own kind of creativity and freedom with the piece. So it's a bit of a balance in it.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.